Just going through the Boulevard Mall here and kind of showing you a little one of my favorite places to go back in the day and the different stores that I recall from here. You got the food court just over there. Well, I should say the centerpiece of the mall, and then down here I like malls. They're just the best liminal spaces you can go through. And in part because there's very few people in these shopping malls anymore in general, in different parts of the country for the most part. And that's a sad thing because everything is so convenient. You know, the concept of the mall, everything being close by, and you only had to park your car once, right? And then you didn't have to worry about slogging through the snow or carrying your belongings with you everywhere. All you had to do was put in a locker somewhere, and it was good. It was good for the day. This is where the Sears was, right here. The Sears sign was right in there, and the Sears store was right there. But look now, I mean, I've just come from the Boulevard Plaza over there, down the Niagara Falls Boulevard from this. This is the Boulevard Mall again in Amherst. And that place is absolutely busy. Very, very busy. But it's all outside and it's very inconvenient for the most part because you're fighting the traffic while you're trying to get to these different stores when all those stores, or many of them, could be right here. In, I think, this store here, or maybe further down, it was Borders Books. And in this corner here, this area, was KB Toys. It's a weird sort of corner piece right there. That's where KB Toys was. And I don't know where everything was exactly. But it's an interesting trip to come over here even now and see a lot of what was here. This was the food court. Dick's Sporting Goods, where that is now, that's where the food court was. It was a huge octagon structure, and it had the carousel in there and so forth. And, well, they lopped that off. They lopped off the most popular element of the mall so that they could stick that in there. And it's had mixed success since it's been there. But it's progress. And I think, to be fair, that's an attempt to kind of get beyond where the mall's been. And I really don't think that has necessarily worked out. Now, you still see what you're still seeing here. And it is kind of unfortunate, to put it mildly. On the other hand, artistically and aesthetically, if you are online lately, the fandom of the liminal spaces is built largely and recently on the amount of dead malls that are in this country and people exploring these places. I'm kind of imagining again what it was like to see these places full up of people. There used to be so many people along here. You couldn't cross aisles. There were so many people here. This was Abercrombie and Fitch originally, and there was probably something else in there before that. Now it's a really nice bookstore, which I'd like to sort of show a little bit. I mean, although the interiors were designed for retail clothing, it's actually really conducive to a bookstore. I mean, they didn't change really anything. They just put up the shelvings for it and blended them in with the walls. But this is a really nice bookstore if you come through here. A few out-of-print things here, too. Anyways, that's just my thought about my old favorite Boulevard Mall. if you come here, there's still lots to see and do. And even though it is what it is, you still have a lot of good things to look at. And of course, no matter what dead mall you're in, there's always a Bed Bath & Body Works. If there's nothing else operating in the mall, you always have one of those. It's still here, or still there somewhere. One of the newer things I did put in here, of course, is the H&M. And I bought stuff in there. That's where I get my button-down shirts from. Collar shirts. These are some kiosks here. Of course, the American Eagle. And until recently, Hot Topic. That's where the Hot Topic was. They just closed. And you get this awesome little dress shop here. That's pleasant to go through. Well, was it? Yeah, they got some dresses in there, but there's some other things in there now. I think it was this Pearson Pagoda, maybe, or the one at the Summit Mall, where my sister got her ears pierced for the first time. This is a jeweler's store here. And this here is the centerpiece of the mall itself. We used to have the singing bears up here, which were kind of creepy. Reminded you of something at Friday nights at Freddy's. And here we have the Jara Cafe, which is where I like to go for bagels and soups and coffees and teas. I highly recommend it. And Macy's. You know. This part of the mall here is the oldest part, and it dates back all the way to when it was, I think, Sadler's or Sibley's, one of those two. And it was, a couple other things before that. But this is the oldest part of the oldest mall, really, in Western New York, going all the way back to the early 1950s. And very shortly, we'll have Santa Claus sitting over there in the traditional spot. In this area, by the way, you notice that these lights are here. There used to be these really tall palm trees that went way up to the ceiling there. And that's where the tall palms were in this room. This whole room was filled with these really tall palm trees, and it was really nice. But they started to age out, and die off. So they replaced them with these fake potted palms. Unfortunately, the lights that originally here are made to point way up, straight out. So they don't quite illuminate these imitations all that well. And down that way, of course, past Santa Claus was Kaufman's or Sibley's. Sibley's was down there. And then men's Macy's. And then that moved, all consolidated to the Macy's right there. So both stores came together there. And JCPenney's is over there too. And JCPenney's has been here since the building was made right there. So, but if you're coming to the Boulevard Mall, there's also TGI Fridays restaurant here. This was another jewelry outlet. Menswear is down there. Yeah, so stop on by when you have a chance.